getting up and working now. I am so sorry about the delay, everyone. You know, literally I was about to start streaming and get everything set up and the school calls. But everyone's fine, just a little black eye from my klutzy 2-year-old. So we're good, we're live, we're rolling. So anyway, I am Rebecca from ChemKnits, and I am here today to do another look at breaking black food coloring and looking at different formulations. A couple weeks ago I came on with a PSA that Wilton had changed their food coloring formulas. And by change, a long time ago, I had one that had the first ingredient was red number 3. And then for years, the ones that I purchased had red number 40 as the first ingredient. And these broke differently. And so, okay, this was great. So I've been going on using the red number 41. I recently went to 5 different stores, and the only Wilton's Black icing color I could find has the red number 3 formula. When I contacted the company, the red number 3 formula that was the one that should have. Apparently the red number 40s came from some other processing plant that is gone. So we're going to take a look at everything to see what we can see. So that is the plan today. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for weathering the delay. Let me pop out the chat. Okay. And, I'm so glad you guys are able to join me today. Oh, goodness. Yeah, so that's what's been going on around here. And, I should move this so that way I can actually see. Okay. So this way I can see what's going on. Wow, that one started boiling first? All right. So currently, what I've got up in my pots, in each of my pots I have 8 cups of water, and then I'm planning on adding a 1/4 teaspoon of each of the blacks we're going to look at. So we are going to look at the old Wilton's, we're going to look at the old Wilton's Black that had red number 3. We're going to look at the new, now old Wilton's Black that had red number 40. We're going to look at the new Wilton's Black, which is also red number 3. So those are the first 3 we're going to start with. Then we are going to look at the Wilton's Black from the Wilton Colorite Color Performance System, which is red 40 days. And then we will also look at the Mccormick's Black, which is also red 40 days. Now those 2 liquid food colorings, I also used enough drops to measure a 1/4 teaspoon. So this time you have an equivalent volume of food coloring across the board. Because the last time I did recently the breaking black dip dyeing video, I did not really measure the food colorings, so it was harder to get a true comparison. And so I'm going based on the amount of food coloring that I like to use to get the really nice, beautiful gradient. So that is the plan. I hope you guys could follow all of that, but I decided that I would do this as a live stream versus, a standalone video because there's going to be a lot of dip dyeing, and when I do the summary, I'll give the conclusions of the formula and the colors that we got. And so I think that that's what people want to see. Oh, don't worry about being late. I was late to the party too. I was really, really late getting started. So please let me know if you have any questions along the way. And if you would like to support videos like these, there are a few ways that you can do that. One way is if you look at the chat, there's a little $sign at the bottom, and that is Super Chat. So if you use that, it's sort of like a tip jar. You can give a financial contribution to me directly, but then also your chat message will show up with like a bright color for potentially a longer period of time, and so that is always kind of fun. I also give a shout out to you if you do it. The other thing that you can do to support me is you can sign up to become a ChemKnits patron. I have a Patreon account, and you can contribute on a monthly basis and get early access to new dyeing videos, exclusive behind-the-scenes sneak peeks, and more. So I'm going to drop that link into the chat. And of course, I did not do that right. There we go. And hopefully it will work. There we go. All right. So there, I've dropped the Patreon link into the chat, but it's also in the video description. So let's get started with dyeing some yarn. Good morning. Thank you everyone for joining me today. Okay. We're going to come up to the stove. Alrighty. Oh good, that one's starting to heat up. So you I can turn down. I can't believe you heated up first. Okay, and I need a tablespoon. I was organized today. I have already measured out all the dyes. Each of the dyes, so I mentioned that I was doing a 1/4 teaspoon of each dye, and I mixed that into a 1/2 cup of water, and there's no acid in that currently. And now, okay, I'm debating, with Wilton's Violet, I now like to start with 1 tablespoon of vinegar and 8 cups of water. But for the black, I'm going to go ahead and start with 2. And the reason why I'm starting with 2 is usually to get the last blues to bind in the end, I need to add a 1/3 tablespoon of vinegar to the dye bath. All right, so we've got 1, 2, and 3. And probably I will not be able to dip dye in this back one easily, so I will probably need to transfer that to the front. Where's my other oven mitt? Get everything all situated. We're really about to start dip dyeing, but I'm gonna pop back down for a second. Oh, I'm glad you enjoy my experiments. Thank you. Oh, I'm glad. I like thinking of it as a show. Thank you. All right, I'm going to have a tiny drink. But yeah, feel free to leave questions. And there's a lot of you in chat today. So if I don't see your question right away, feel free to drop it again when I sit down. And you know I'm sitting down and I can see all the questions, all the comments, because you can see my little head. All right. But, oh no, I have it on, okay, now I can see all messages. I had it on top chat, which only shows a little bit. But awesome. Okay, let's get started. But, ooh, there's actually some dye on my glove. I want to, so I've pre-soaked the yarn. Oh, let's talk about the yarn for today. So a lot of times I like to do the dip dyeing with Knit Picks Wool of the Andes yarn. But today I am, if I can get this on camera, going to use Knit Picks Stroll Fingering Weight yarn. And there is an affiliate link to this in the video description. So this yarn that is one of my favorites is, there we go, is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And it is a fingering weight yarn. Now, these fingering weight yarns tend to absorb, or not fingering weight, these superwash yarns tend to absorb color a little bit faster than the 100% worsted weight wool. So, if I start noticing that I'm not seeing very much breaking because the colors are absorbing too fast, then we'll go ahead and switch to the 100% untreated wool. But I have pre-soaked and made a little bit of a mess out of this. Oh goodness, Rebecca. I pre-soaked the yarns in some plain tack water, and I am currently, so I'm bad and I don't always add additional ties to my skeins, which usually is not a problem for me. Occasionally, after the pre-soak, I have to rearrange it. But you really should add more ties. I am just bad. But I have been pre-soaking this yarn for probably well over an hour. but usually only 20 to 30 minutes is sufficient to get good color. You dip dyed, the last time you dip dyed in black, you dip dyed halfway and then added vinegar. Yeah, some of the reds will start to bind before you add any vinegar. Especially with superwash yarns, you'll see the reds bind. And okay, okay, so I am going to start, and I'm writing this down. I have my handy dandy notebook. Okay, I'm going to start with the quote new, now old, the red number 40 color. And the reason why I'm starting with this one is this is a color that I am very, very comfortable with. I have dip dyed this in with this formula the most. So therefore I know a bit more what to expect. But here is the color that has been dissolved in half a cup of water. Oh dear. Well, I guess good thing I'm wearing a black shirt, but that definitely splattered. Oh goodness, Rebecca. Maybe it didn't get on me though. Yeah, I'll find out later. Okay, so we've added it to the pot. Gonna up the heat a little bit. And you could put your yarn through a salad spinner or something, but I just used my hands to wring it out. And we are going to start dip dyeing. And I like to do this by slowly adding more yarn. And of course my tongs are over there. And I sort of wait, and each time I add a tiny bit more, but I wait till I start to see the blues. And you can even check. Actually, that is starting to look pretty blue. Yeah, so once I see, you can see on the yarn that it's starting to look a bit blue. That's when I go ahead and add the rest. And now I'm going to set a timer. Well, the timer already had something on it. I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes. Because that will tell me, you know, there is a lot of blue in here right now, but the timer will sort of help tell me if I need to add a little more vinegar. But you can see already the color is starting to clear a bit. Okay, now I have to go all the way around, because there's a cord between the webcam and where I am, and I didn't want to step over it and risk dropping the webcam, but I'm stirring this just a little bit to help. Ooh, that's a nice one. Let's all get access to the color. Yeah, actually the color is clearing really nicely. So that is good. Okay. That's where number 1 is. And I'm reconfirming. Yeah, this. I don't know if it'll focus on it and be able to read it. So the one that I just did was the Wilton's food coloring that I guess is from, this one was from, wait a minute. This one I guess is from 2012, it says on it. No, the copyright's 2012. Okay, I guess with the first 2 numbers on here, this one was made in 2016. And it has, excuse me, the order of the food coloring molecules is red number 40, blue number 1, yellow number 5, and then blue number 2. And so that is sort of the order that all of those are present in here. And oh yeah, we're really getting close to clear, and it's only been 2 minutes. That's awesome. That is awesome, because we got a really, really nice broken gradient there. Let me see if there are any questions. Beautiful day, but you need your Rebecca fix. Aw, it is a nice day here too. I'm in Massachusetts, and I think that if I weren't worried about the ground being totally soaked, I would totally walk to get the kids from school. Oh, it's so much fun. Iris, you should get started. Hey, so you got my Blue Clues reference. I always think that all the time. Yeah, so if you start with less vinegar, you will get sort of the bright blue as well. I think that there was a Let's Dye Some Yarns live where I did 7 different yarns. Oh, actually, I wonder, I have it in my notebook. Or my, who came up with the term, my diary. Okay, so it was on February 19th, I did a live stream. And that's where I started doing just 1 tablespoon of vinegar for the dip dyes. And we got some beautiful, beautiful broken colors. But the next one I'm going to do is the old red number 3. And that one I think says like the copyright was like 2010 or something on that one. But okay, I am going to have my little head disappear again. Ah, it's my pleasure to inspire and enable. Okay, and okay, this one I'm going to do in this pot, making sure I am writing things down. Okay, I'm going to reduce this to low. And there's 1 minute left on the timer, but that is basically clear. Okay, I am going to go ahead and turn off the heat on this front pot, and I'm actually going to turn off the timer as well, because we have, and I can even show you guys, there is very, very little color left in that pot. I'm still going to leave it in the pot for a tiny bit, mainly to help me keep track of things, but great. It always is sort of a pain when things take a little longer to absorb. Not a pain, I mean it happens, but there's one video that I was just editing last night, and it just took so long for the color to absorb. And then I was like, all right, we'll come back in another 10 minutes. And then I'm like, okay, it's the next morning, and you can see just how much color is still left behind. So, getting our next skein ready to go. Okay, yeah, the colors are so nice. Unfortunately, the colors on the webcam don't run very true. They tend to be like, you don't get a good sense for the purples. And even if I play around with the white balance, I don't have a setting to add the reds back in, which is a bit of a bummer. Okay, so the black that I just dyed was the one that I guess was manufactured in 2016 and had the had red number 40 in it. So this was the one, the one that I just did this is the formulation that I've used in almost all of my videos. Excuse me. And now I am going to do the old formula, which is the same as the new formula. And this one, the copyright on the bottle for the one I'm about to do says 2008. And I must have bought this. The first 2 numbers show the year that it was manufactured, and so this one was done in 2012. And so, but I don't think I've ever done them where I've ever used this one with this much dye before. So I also did a 1/4 teaspoon of the dye in 1/2 cup of water. And I'm curious if we are going to see much of a difference with the coloration, because this time we've actually measured it. And so therefore that can make a difference because it's actually measured. All right, but let's start dip dyeing. Hopefully, oh good. But I think that the final color ends up looking a little more green. Oh. If I remember correctly. Yeah, maybe going a little too fast. Okay. Do. Okay, so I'm not sure how much you can tell here, but this one, the blues are different. This final blue at the end is, I would say overall, this one is a lot, the red number 41 is a lot more blue. This one, it almost feels a little more brown and teal in there, is what I'm sort of seeing. But this was, oh, I should say, this one is the silver Cuisinart. This one is the California, or whatever. Yeah. Oh, you can see on there that the colors are a bit different. That those final blues are different. And you know, the colors break differently. It's still beautiful. It's still absolutely beautiful. It's just, oh, did I set? No, I didn't set a timer. Excuse me. All right, I've got a timer going for 5 minutes, but again, a lot of this color has absorbed, which is great. So the color is still lovely. I would say at the bottom we've got this reddish purple, and it's still a blue, and the only reason why I'm calling it more of a blue-green is just it is not quite as, like, this one feels more blue and purple than the other one. And it's not because of the depth of the blue. It is that there are overall differences in the way the colors are breaking. But this dye is old. Really, really, really old. You know, I had this when I first started making ChemKnits video. This is the dye that is in the original Breaking Black food coloring video. Actually, so is my Mccormick's. This is the same bottle. So I've had those for 4 years. And I've sort of held on to it when I realized that there was a formula difference. But, okay, what I'm going to do now is swap these pots. Oh dear. So I've turned off these stoves. Okay. I can turn this one back on so we bring this one up to simmer so we can start doing the next one. I'm not really sure why I'm wearing gloves because, well, I mean, you wear gloves so you don't dye your fingertips, but it's, you know, there's not a ton of like hand to dye action, and I already have black splatter on my fingers. So this new one was manufactured in 2017 and is a red number 3 formula as well. And I believe, so the formula between this one and the one we just did, like, they have the same food coloring molecules, but they are not the same. They are not the exact same. And by that, what I mean is that the total ingredients are listed in a slightly different order. So I'm gonna wait for the timer to go. We must be getting the package delivered. Yeah, so the food coloring molecules are still in the same order on the label, but some of the other ingredients are ordered differently. So okay, let me grab it. So the one that I just did, okay, I can't reach that quickly right now. When I do the recap video, I will be taking pictures of all of these. So that way it will be very, very clear. Oh, Indy. Indy, are you gonna come say hi? Indy, come. Normally you're put away for videos, but I guess. Hey everyone, here's Indy. No wonder you're barking. Hi. You my fluff ball? He's like, Mommy, what are you doing? Okay. Go to bed. Oh no, 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 don't touch it! Tripod! Oh gosh. Okay, I'm gonna go put, actually, this is a good time for me to send you guys to a brief commercial break. And I am going to go put Indy away. So, oh dear, why? Oh, that's why I can't see. But I thank you for hanging out during the commercial, and I will be right back. Hey, buddy. Yeah, you know. Oh, thank you. All right. Now, if you didn't see an ad, don't worry about it. I know that not everybody gets them. YouTube decides who sees them and who doesn't. So don't worry if you don't see one, but if you do, thanks for watching. Ad revenue is one of the things that helps support all of this. So, but also you guys watching and liking everything helps support everything too. So thank you, thank you. And of course, while I did that, I can't see the chart. All right, our timer is going. Okay, let's check. Oh yeah, that's basically clear. All right, I am going to turn off the heat here, and then we are going to start on this one. So the one that we are about to do is the, okay. Problem is when I'm doing this, I can't see. Okay, there we go. This is the new current formula this is the one that you will find in stores. And so if I compare this to the old one that was similar, the old one has water as the first ingredient. The second one has corn syrup. And the new one has like the food colorings before, like food starch. And so it's just some of those other ingredients that are in a slightly different order. Okay. Oh, I need to get the yarn. Silly Rebecca. Okay. Getting the yarn. Squeezing out excess water. Okay. Got this ready to go. Move that handle out of the way. And up. I tangled it a tiny bit. Oh no. We good? Okay, we're good. Why is that? Ew. What on earth? Okay. Nope. If only you guys could see what I was doing. There's just like a couple strands that are going the wrong direction that I am, there we go, organizing. Okay, see my pretty skein. All right. Of course, let's not disrupt this loop that I've got. All right. Okay. Yes. So yeah, if you've bought Wilton's Black recently, this is the one that you probably have. So I'm expecting it to be very similar to this one right here. Okay. But now let's dip. Ooh, you can see some of the dyes crashing out around the edge. So I have no idea what got them to swap. You can see that water dripping down is getting pretty blue. Yep, we're in the blue stage, so now we can add the rest and wiggle it. So again, this looks very, very similar to the first one. It's possible that there's a bit more red in it. We saw more red crashing out around the edge. I guess there is some red that crashed out around here. It's less obvious because of the color of the pot. But this formula is a lot older. So, is this handle cool? I'm now curious. Setting a timer for 5 minutes. So with time going on, it looked like this one feels more brighter and more turquoise than the first one, but that's what we felt over here too, and that's still the case. All right, let's check and see. Oh, that is really, really clear already. So, okay, and the heat on those two are off. Awesome. Hello, hello. So, it looks like the new formula does look extremely similar to the old one that I have. And ultimately, they are similar to the red number 40 formula as well. The differences are subtle. I sort of, you know, it feels a little bit like the difference between delphinium blue and Wilton's violet. They both break beautifully, but the delphinium blue is a little more turquoise than bright blue that we see with the violet. You know, so that's sort of the difference that we see. And then the 3, new. Could have added extra ties to distinguish through the formulas, but instead I have this, like, these notes. But I'll be able to keep them straight. Oh, goodness. I hope that you guys are having a good day. So I have 2 more blacks ready to go. And basically what we're going to do is we are going to wait with this last one to make sure everything's exhausted, turn off the heat, and then we will start removing these from the pots and putting them in some bowls to cool off, and then we will add new water. Oh, I'm going to reduce that heat. Then I'm going to add some new water to the pots, new vinegar. If I need to, I'm going to let the pots cool so I can wash off some of that red number 3 that may have crashed around the edge. And then we'll try the other 2 formulas of black. The pots each started with 8 cups of water and 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. Oh, what's your question? What kind of notes do I see another question. What kind of notes do I keep in my diary? I mostly, yeah, I just turned it. Okay, so what you guys see, there's like probably 30 seconds to a minute delay between what's happening real time and then what you see. I haven't added the delay in. I think that's just the processing time for uploading the video. So it's like, oh yeah, I saw that. But Mrs. Freeman, let me know what your question is. But I saw that Mary had a question about the kinds of notes that I keep in my diary. So, all right, I'm gonna make my face larger so you guys can see. So these are the notes that I am taking today. I kept some notes on the amount of drops that I used when I was mixing the other colors, and I have a system for keeping track of what kind of pot that I did with which color and where it was on the stove. So this way I can also go back and look at the live stream and then sort of figure out, and that's Grandma's pot, figure out where things are. Yeah, so, but in the past, I don't always take written notes because since I'm filming everything, I usually, when I go back and watch the video, I then usually take notes of the conditions and then I can have that in the video description. Yes. So there are many, many different ways that you can play with heat and when you add the yarn to the pot. There are definitely, and I've done this before, where you've used hot water and then no additional heat when you're dyeing yarn. Some, like with these, I think they would be totally fine if I was to turn off the heat sooner. The pots tend to stay hot for a while, so the additional heat might not be necessary. Margaret, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for the contribution. I really appreciate it. Yeah. So you guys don't show you my bum. Okay, so our 5 minutes are up. I'm going to turn off the heat on this one because I'm expecting, yeah, that water is very clear. Okay, but I am going to let it sit for a minute so that way I can remove things a bit easier. No, I did not add any iron. I did not add any iron to this today. The only things in these pots are is a 1/4 tablespoon of food coloring that was mixed in 1/2 cup of water. And then the dye bath started off with 8 cups of water and 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. You should honestly get some yarn, get some food coloring, or even Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid's really easy, and give it a go. It's a lot of fun. So you've been adding after the water boils and turn off the heat. That absolutely can work. If you start to see that you're having trouble getting the colors to clear, then you might want to add some additional heat, but it's not always necessary. So sometimes if I want to get a more solid color, I will add, oh, Miss Purple Top, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you. Then, yeah, so sometimes if I want a more solid color, I will start off with low acid, no heat, add the color, add the yarn, and then bring up the heat. Because if you want a more solid color, you want to slow down the rate of color absorption as much as you can. And so you want to have a larger volume of water. And then if you start with less heat and less acid, that sort of slows things down. Now, with some of these reds, they will bind straight away. And so that can be a little trickier for some of these purple food colorings. But it all, there's a lot of different ways, and we can talk about more later about more solids. No, I do have some Synthropol in my stash, but I haven't ever used it. And again, pre-washing and pre-soaking with soaps and stuff is a way if you want to get even colors. I almost never want to get a completely solid yarn. The most solid that I want is a semi-solid because I want some of that hand-dyed, home-dyed feel. I think that, if I wanted a true solid yarn, then there's many options to go and buy that. Oh, do you know that? Thank you so much for the super chat. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate this. Thank you so much. And thank you also for shopping at Knit Picks. Yeah, I've only been an affiliate of theirs since October, and I wish that I had discovered that program sooner because I have been using their yarns pretty much since the beginning. I think that, why the super chat came up, I think that the amount, maybe because of maybe a Canadian to US conversion or something it does, I honestly don't know. But I appreciate it very much. Thank you. You'd like to start as a business. Yeah, so, I mean, I have, the only time I've ever sold yarn at this point is through my Kickstarter, which was a little different. So my personal business model is a little different from many independent dyers because my primary production is these videos and tutorials. And a lot of independent dyers won't share their exact formulas and techniques because they want you to buy their yarn. And whereas I want to encourage and teach you guys to do it at home. I am in the process of setting up a de-stash sale because I have a lot, and by a lot I mean a lot of yarn that I've dyed, more than I could ever use. And I mean, it's another way to help finance more videos. But I am aware that I am teaching you all exactly how I've dyed each one. So I think that there is some humor in that. But even once I have the shop up and running, my primary focus is going to be making the videos, not dyeing yarn for the shop, if that makes sense. You use citric acid in your pre-soak. Yeah, I mean, some people don't use soap at all. It's all about preference. I use clear dish soap now because it helps me see better if there's any bleeding. But also from the tutorial standpoint, I like to use soap because it shows that the dye will stay in with soap and that it's not washing out. And so I think that that is a helpful visual for people as well. Because I don't have time to make a swatch of each yarn and then go and put it through the washing machine so you guys can see how wash fast it is. But I guess another thing that I should give a shout out to is if you guys are on Facebook, we have a group for ChemKnits fans that's called the ChemKnits Lab. And this group is filled with a lot of different independent dyers, home dyers, people who are just about to get started. And so sometimes if, you know, I'm not around to answer a question right away, there is someone else there who can. And so it's a lot of fun. Yeah, but yes, when the shop is open, there will be a really big announcement. So you guys will be very aware of when this happens. Yeah, I'm learning the whole like Etsy, like behind the scenes stuff right now. So we're moving towards it, but I have a lot of inventory. All right, I'm gonna now stand up and remove some of these yarns, but feel free to, oh, excuse me, continue to ask questions. I got totally slayed because first we had spring break, then I got sick, and Ryder got sick too, and so I'm still recovering from that. But so this right here is the first yarn that we dyed. This was done with the, I guess in terms of the timeline, the middle formula. This is the Wilton's Black Icing Color that has red number 40 and is the one that I use the most in all of my videos. So that one was yarn number 1. Then yarn number 2, oh good, I have the heat off everywhere. Okay, this was my really, really old Wilton's formula. And what is going on with my, there we go, my tongs. So this was the old red number 3. And I finally have compared the volume of color, I think, which is helpful. I will, once they cool a bit, I will make them a bit prettier so I can share. But there's not a lot of red that's crushed out around that edge. And then this last one, what do I have in the sink? Nothing. Okay. This last one is the formula that you can find currently. Probably if you order online, you could potentially end up with an old vial. But I literally, when I noticed the change, ran around to all of the local stores. And by literally, I mean literally, I ran to all of the local stores to see what I could find. To see if I could find some of the old formula, because I love that old formula. But now, if I wasn't doing an experiment and wanted to have some controls going on here, I would totally, oops, sorry about that. I would totally reuse these dye baths. So this one had almost no color crash out around the edge. But there we go. I want to use new water, and I need the pot to cool off a bit so I can wash out some of that color. I want to use new water and vinegar so that way I can start these other ones in the exact same way. Oh, no worries. I will be filming a long recap from this live stream where I will show each of the finished dried yarns. I will take a picture and put up the exact formula from the food coloring that I used, and we'll talk about all the differences there. I just thought that it would be nice to also have shown the dyeing so that way you guys can see. I should do a dyeing retreat. Ooh, that would be fun. So I don't think you can still get the Whitland's 40 unless like an online seller like sends it to you. Like I think on Joanne's website, they have a picture of the formula, and it's the Red 40 formula that you can see there. But I bet that they would be sending you the new stock. So I'm surprised. I actually reached out to Wilton to ask them about this because I'm like, these have the same SKU, but they have different formulas. And it looks like they had an old plant that they shut down that used the other formula. So I honestly don't know. But let me see. Okay, this might be a little hot, so it might be hard. And the colors on here aren't great. But so these two have the same formula. And the newer one has a little more, okay, you can't see, and I'm risking burning myself. The new one has more red in it. And I think that it's possible that over time, some of that red number 3 became insoluble or something. So the colors are overall a bit brighter on the newer one than the medium one. But I'm like, cool off faster, guys. So that way I can make you pretty in these bowls so I can show them off. Do the pots have vinegar? Yes. So each pot started off with 8 cups of vinegar, 8 cups of water, 2 tablespoons of vinegar, and then for all of the colors today, I've mixed a 1/4 teaspoon of dye in 1/2 cup of water. Added that to the pot when the pot was at a boil, and then immediately started dip dyeing the Stroll fingering weight yarn. Here is the Stroll label, and ooh, actually, I could. I was like, I always restart my computer before. Nope. I always restart my computer before I do a live stream because, all right, here is an affiliate link. I just dropped a link, excuse me, to the Stroll fingering weight yarn that I'm using. It's one of my absolute favorites. I buy it by the 20 pack, and it takes up dye beautifully and is really soft and great to knit with. Yeah, no, I was like, I mean, I was, you know, sure that if I ordered online, I would not get the Red 40 formula. That's why I want to check the color right, and let me grab that. The color right formula might be similar. Let me see. I still have a vial and a half of the Red 40. Okay, so the color right black, the base black, has blue number 1, red number 40, yellow number 6, red number 3, yellow number 5. So it is completely different from the other 2 that we've looked at. The old red number 40 icing color was red number 40, blue number 1, yellow number 5, and blue number 2. And blue number 2 is not something that I see around a lot. So maybe that's one reason why they switched the formula. I don't know if it has to do with the blue number 2, although what's in base blue? Yeah, the base blue here is just blue number 1. Bummer. I do not, no, I don't have an affiliate link for eBay. I mean, I might, but I don't know for sure. I'll have to look into that if I do. I know some of you guys get yarn and stuff on eBay. Basically, I used to write for some other services, and so then you would have some affiliate links to other places. And so I don't know if the eBay stuff I have is through the website or if I actually have to sign up and get my own number to input there. But, oh, the old days of Squidoo. Yes, I used to write for a website called Squidoo, and their mascot was a squid. Yep. But yeah, so that's, I did not use any vinegar when I pre-soaked the yarn. You can absolutely pre-soak your yarn with acid and have acid in the dye pot. I think that can really help with color absorption, but it all depends on how quickly you want the colors to absorb. So, you know, when I'm hand painting, I tend to pre-soak. Basically, I like to add acid to the food coloring as late in the game as possible. So if I'm hand painting yarn, I will pre-soak the yarn in vinegar and mix the food coloring in just water, because I find that reduces the amount of crashing out you can see. Because you want the colors to still be in solution and still bind to your yarn versus like crashing out. So that is why I do it that way. And hers are still hot. Okay, so these new colors are really pretty. They're just different from the old ones, and so I'm feeling nostalgic and sad. But all right, I think right now I will be sending you guys to a little commercial break. Some of you, YouTube will choose, and I'm going to start washing out these pots so we can get ready for our next round to look at the last 2 colors. But while I'm doing this, feel free to add more questions to the chat. I love to help. And if you've watched my streams before, you know that I have to then like wait to give a signal so that way the ads get inserted when I actually say they're going to be inserted. It tends to so when I hang out. But this also shows the length of the delay because now I'm actually inserting the ad. So if you're not seeing it, then you get a sense. Oh, well, if you're not seeing it, then you might not get a sense. Actually, this pot is clean. Do. And I will need to remember that this does not have any vinegar in it yet. Okay, let's wash this pot. Yay, doing dishes on live television. Okay, that one's not so bad. Because even when the dye crashes out, it can still sometimes sort of like come back. So it can like stain the yarn still. But I'm curious with these next dyes because the color intensity is also going to be different. I still see a little color around that edge. But I'm not seeing anything wipe off, which means it won't come off on yarn either, which is good. All right. Oh. Okay, we got the two new pots heating up, and I am going to add 2 tablespoons of white vinegar to each one. Oh, approximately. Okay, so what I found is that with the Wilton Colorite system, the Wilton Colorite Color Performance System, and oh, I should grab a link to that. Here we go. The link text. Ooh, there's a $2 coupon for the Colorite system right now. So you can get the Colorite system for $17.95. Woohoo. Oh, great question. How critical is the amount of vinegar? So yes, it can, like if you add, having more vinegar will mean that the colors can bind to the yarn faster. And so this, ooh, that got slow. This can make a difference, but it doesn't necessarily make a huge difference at times. Like if I were to start off with 5 tablespoons of vinegar, we might not see as much breaking because all the colors might bind faster. So we would get more of a white at the end versus the bright blue. Are there any types of metal in pans that you should avoid? Probably, but I don't have a good answer for that question. So I use mostly the stainless steel or my enamel cooking pots. I'm not sure what that last pot is. That was my grandmother's. I don't know what that's made out of. That one is really old. Yeah, that's, so I don't have a great answer for you there. Yeah, right. So I think that aluminum is probably not best to use. Ooh, creamy peach is stunning. I've done that before, and actually, let me go see if I can run in. Do I? No. I'm trying to remember if I have it super accessible. Excuse me. Maybe later, towards the end, I will run and grab that. But yes, so the amount of vinegar, when I'm breaking violet, for example, I found that now I like to start with 1 tablespoon of vinegar in 8 cups of water because that gives you that really bright blue at the end. With some of the sock yarns, if I do start with 2 tablespoons of vinegar, the blues absorb a little faster, so I get more of a pale blue and white at the end of the breaking. So that is, like, so it can make a big difference, but it's something that, you know, for a lot of other applications, in my pre-soaks, I do anywhere from 2 to 3 tablespoons in the pre-soak, sometimes more. I used to just do a healthy splash, but I started measuring more so that way you guys can try to replicate my results. And then with the Wilton's Violet, so I start with 1 tablespoon, I dip dye, and then I'll add a 2nd tablespoon to help all the blues absorb at the end. So that's why I do that way. Ooh, you're gonna get a flatbed knitting machine. That's awesome. I want one. Oh, fun! Yeah, creamy peach. So it breaks from kind of a, you get like an orange, I forget if you got like a yellow at the end, but it's really, really cool. I was just taking pictures again. Yeah, I think that it was like orange, like it was definitely orange and pink. And oh, I was like trying to look up. I'm like, I can't see if I'm boiling yet. But the color right system is amazing, and I love it. So I have not broken the black. I have not broken the black in this kind of way. Oh, hello, onion. I haven't broken the black like I'm doing today with it yet. I have used a few drops of it in some of the Soft Blank special episodes, but so that's the experience that I've had. Yeah, but so the McCormick's black has red number 40, blue number 1, and yellow number 5. So this is a different formula from the Wilton red 40 formula and the Color Right system formula as well. So when I was measuring a 1/4 teaspoon of these two colors, I got 21 drops of the Color Right black. About, maybe I could have done 22, but about 21 drops. And then it was about 19 drops of the McCormick's. But to do sort of a more fair comparison, I upped it to 21 drops. So that way there's 21 drops of each of these liquid food colorings. Oh yeah, I'm glad you could join too. So if you want to see some of these colors on 100% wool, some of those videos I've done, excuse me, the old, so I guess the first two colors that I did today, those are in another Breaking Black video along with the McCormick's black. But I just didn't, I think I did the like forkful method versus measuring, so I didn't have as direct a comparison. So, okay, this is starting to, still a little hot. Okay, still a little hot. Trying to see if I could do my pretty picture. That was the first one. Moving around, I like to do the like pretty little swoop. Ah! Hot. The second one. And this is the third one, but yeah, the colors are really bad right now. Whew, whew, whew. Ow. Yeah, I mean, I could get behind the new black formula. I'm just gonna like have some more in the old one for a little bit. We're not boiling yet. Have you dyed with onion? Not yet. I would like to at some point. I think food-wise, the only like food that I've done, so I've done avocado, which I want to redo with some mordant to see if I can intensify the color. I've done coffee, I've done tea, and I've done wine. So those are the like food-based ones that I've done. And ooh, I did a food coloring, like colors of nature. And so that video will be coming up soon, so that's fun. So the creamy peach, all right, we're waiting for things to boil. I'm gonna go find the creamy peach yarn. Because I was just photographing it, so I think I should be able to find it. This is the stuff that's already in the shop. Yeah. So creamy peach. And unfortunately, the colors don't show up well. I think that the live stream was from January. So here's the creamy peach, and we've got sort of a yellow-orange and then a pink. Let me come back down here, and we can see how bad, I can see how bad the colors are down here. Yeah. Oh, actually, Okay, I mean, the colors aren't great down here, so they're a little different, but you can definitely see the pink and the orange on here. So this was Creamy Peach, and I think I used a ½ teaspoon. And, oh wait, I have the dye notebook, so I could look this up. So, oh, but here's the video. Let's Dye Some Yarn live, and I streamed it on February 19th. And so that's when I did Creamy Peach. Oh, the Gatorades are really fun. So let's see, with this Creamy Peach. Okay. So it had 8 cups of water, 1 tablespoon of vinegar, and a ½ cup of dye. Or, sorry, a ½ teaspoon of dye and a ½ cup of water. But I'm not entirely sure of some of the other conditions, because that one I was reusing dye baths and going around a lot. But yeah, it's like rich and bright and a lot of fun. Thanks. Yeah, with the live streams, if there's a particular yarn you want to see, since I don't really have them annotated, you can sort of scroll along the bottom to find the right spot. But since there's an ask about onion, uh-oh. Oh. All right, I'll bring out one other guy to show you guys as sort of a sneak peek. Since we're sitting here watching some pots try to boil, okay, we're getting close. Okay, so here is this yarn. And this one, so this yarn, so this is like a spoiler sneak peek. So if you don't want a spoiler, like, you know, blindfold earmuffs for a minute. So this one will be coming out on the 1st of June. But I used this Colors of Nature food coloring kit. And I think that the red had beet juice powder in it, and the yellow had turmeric. The blue, which, oh, you see so much blue in this yarn, right? The blue came from spirulina. And so, yeah, I did like a pretty fun technique. The Creamy Peach is Wilton's icing color. But so these were some food colorings that I found at my grocery store, and I wanted to give it a shot, and some of the color actually did stick around. So, yeah, I figured, since I'm giving some spoilers, that's a fun one. Okay. And again, funny that that one is going faster. Put this back in the box. Okay. Actually, since I'm doing spoilers, oh gosh. Maybe I should. I can show you guys what else I was working on today. Oh, you can't even see this wall. These 2 crates. Okay, so this is 1 crate of yarn. That's the one that I was photographing today. And a 2nd crate of hand-dyed yarn. So, I mean, when I say that my stash is getting out of control, my stash is getting out of control. And that's why I need to do a de-stash sale. Yeah. Yeah, the Gatorade video was a lot of fun too. Oh goody, we're boiling. Okay, let's do some dip dyeing, everyone. When I was doing the Kickstarter, I sort of went to the grocery store and like put on my dyer's goggles to do some shopping, and that's when I found, you know, I decided to get some Gatorade, and because people, I did, you know, I had done some food coloring, and then people started asking for more and more like flavors and stuff, and so now the Gatorade gave gorgeous results. However, using icing colors or liquid food coloring is significantly cheaper than buying Gatorade to dye yarn. So I only recommend going ahead and buying Gatorade, for example, if that's what if you have some that you want to use up. Move this. And oh, cool. Cool about the pots. Oh yeah, there will be videos. Like when I do the shop announcement, I will like be showing off some of my favorite yarns as the shop goes live. Oh, okay. So this is my notes. Okay, so the Colorite Black. This is 21 drops, which is a 1/4 teaspoon. It is in the Bell Cup. This is where I take notes. Okay. So the Colorite system, and I put the link in the chat. It is a very the dyes are very, very viscous. They're very concentrated and pretty, and I really, really like working with them. Okay, so we're looking purpley. Actually, right now, the color is very, very much like what I would see with grape. Ooh, we're starting to get to the blue. There's still a little bit of, okay. Okay, all right, go, go, go. Okay, so we got some blue. And I think this actually does, even though it's got the, well, I guess the blues haven't all absorbed yet. There's still a lot of blue in there. So I am moving it around because I want that tip to absorb that blue. You can see, and there's a tiny bit of dye that crashed out along the top. So I was hoping, because of the red number 40, that this would give us that blue that I love from the red number 40 black. But I'm having a feeling that the thing that I'm missing and the thing that's making me sad is the blue number 2 that doesn't seem to be present anywhere anymore. So, now I'm not saying that you won't find this now discontinued formulation, but I don't know how they could market two things with different formulas as the same, especially when, now I could understand, like, you know, how like maybe high C or like a beverage could have 2 different color formulas and market those the same. But this is a food coloring company. You would think that like the colors are what's the most important thing. Have I tried fruit juices? No. So I've mostly been dealing with artificial food colorings. So for example, when I did wine, the color is very like brown. And so, I mean, grape juice would be interesting, but I have a feeling it would eventually turn brown. The closest to fruit juice I've done, besides like the beet juice powder, the closest I've done is fruity teas that are very pink, and they end up being a sort of warm, like reddish brown in the end. They start off pink, but then they sort of probably oxidize to a brown. Tamir, are you talking about your creamy peach? Mine was a super bright, almost neon. Yes, it is definitely almost neon. The colors do not show up very well on my webcam. I cannot. I've tried sort of punching it, but the reds and stuff especially come through more muted. But the color is like really, really vibrant and awesome. Would I ever do a giveaway for the yarn that I've dyed? I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to rule it out, but I don't have any plans to do that in the near future. Mainly because I am working on setting up the, I like that I can see the pot from down here. Okay, there's 2.5 minutes on the timer. I'll let that finish up before I do the McCormick's. Yeah, I think that, yeah, I don't have any plans for any giveaways. I am working on setting up an Etsy shop to sell some of this yarn that I've dyed. I mean, technically I'm giving it away, but in exchange for money. So it's not quite a giveaway. But you know, I have a need to raise some more money to help finance these videos, because when I use a lot of yarn and when basically my viewership goes up and up and up every year, which is awesome. But in general, ad revenue is not where it was even a couple of years ago. And so even with like less views, I was making like similar amounts like a while ago. So that's why I have been turning to, say, for example, Patreon and becoming affiliate marketers for other companies to try to bring in some revenue so that way I can continue to make these videos. So everything that you guys do, like the most helpful thing that you guys do is watching the videos, commenting on the videos, liking the videos, subscribing to the YouTube channel. That is one of the biggest ways in the world that you can help. And then after that, if you want to contribute financially, there is a little $ by the chat. That is Super Chat. It's like a tip jar. It's a way to like give a one-time or occasional contribution during live streams. And then other ways that you can support me are, and let me get the link. So I have a Patreon, which is sort of like a monthly subscription. You sign up for a monthly, you choose like a monthly dollar amount that you want to contribute, and they don't charge you until the 1st of the month. So if you sign up today, you won't be charged until May 1st. But there's some really cool perks. For example, all patrons get early access to one new dyeing video every month. And then when the next early access video comes out in, say, May's newsletter, the April early access video will be made available to the public. So if you're unable to be, or don't want to become a patron, you're not going to be missing any content. But the other things that I do, patrons can get access to exclusive behind-the-scenes sneak peeks. So you can, at least once a month, I'll do a live stream or upload an unedited clip of a video I'm working on. Because sometimes, like right now, I am doing Dye Pot Weekly episodes for June and July. So when I share pictures of what I'm working on Instagram, there's a long wait till you can see it. Okay, that water is clear. I'm going to turn off the heat. And yeah, I would say that this, it's definitely different. It's definitely different from the icing color that we get now. The blue is a little similar, but the purples look a little different. We'll take a closer look in a little while. No worries. Okay, let's do the McCormick's. I'm going to pump you up a little bit. And so again, this is 21 drops of the McCormick's food coloring. But, you know, it's funny. The Wilton, they market their color right system as being like really concentrated, which it is. That you get really intense colors with a very little, like only a few drops. However, I think it's a little less, like per volume, maybe the icing colors are a little more concentrated. But the benefit of the color right system is it's a lot easier to measure. So if you're going to do 21 drops of the food coloring, your consistency from batch to batch is a lot closer than if you're going to measure out a 1/4 teaspoon of food coloring. Okay, and this is my ancient McCormick's Black. I haven't even looked, I don't use it that often, so I haven't even looked to see if they have changed their formula over the years. But again, in the video, I will absolutely share all of the different formulas and stuff. So that way you guys can compare to what you have at home. And coming up on the blue. Eek. Getting hot. Okay, we're at our blue. May have waited too long. I think in general there's a bit less. Huh. This one's a lot more sort of like the way like grape Kool-Aid looks. Looks pretty similar to that for me. Okay, set a timer for 5 minutes. Then we'll come and check. But in general, this one might be as intense as the icing color. The Mccormick's feels a little less intense. So this is an interesting side-by-side comparison of the Mccormick's and the Wiltons. Ooh, you just opened an Etsy shop. Cool. Oh, you'd love any advice that I could give you? Well, I don't have a lot of advice for Etsy right now. Yeah, so I don't have any advice on like how to, oh, this side is the one that's falling down. I don't really have any good advice on the way to market and stuff like that. The one thing I would say is make sure in your item description to say what kind of dye that you use. So if you're dyeing with food coloring, I would disclose that because some people may prefer something that's been dyed with commercial acid dyes or something. So I always personally try to disclose the materials that were used in the description. But congrats on opening up your shop. Oh, you have a shop too? You do objects and charms? Cool. Wait, what takes forever? I missed what takes forever. But yeah, so one of the bins I did today was one of the ones that I was just photographing. And because I'm planning, so one of the things also that patrons will get is that patrons, and I think that this is a perk for patrons at the $5 level and above, they will get advance notice of when the shop update is going to go live. And so that is something that is, I think, cool, and so is sort of like and this and future destashes, so like advance notice. Patrons at the $10 and $25 level get access to coupons, but if you sign up for those today, you won't get, basically Patreon will charge everyone on May 1st. And so if you want to be eligible for the Etsy coupons, if you sign up in April, then on May 1st, after the payments have been processed, then I can send the coupon that will be good for like the whole month of May. So that's the way, like, you know, people can also get shout outs. And so the way for to get the shout outs and the coupons, you basically have to have been a patron by the 1st, so that way, like, if you've paid for the month, if that makes sense. Listing items takes forever. Pics, descriptions, shipping. So basically, I've set up like a stroll-based template where I have like already the yardage and the material and a description where I have like in big caps like dye goes here, video title goes here, and so then I edit those and I edit the title for each listing and obviously change the pictures. But that way, it's a lot faster because I'm not starting over from scratch each time. So you can make like a template and save it as a draft and then copy that. Or you can copy a current listing. So those are the two things that I have found helpful so far. But I'm really nervous actually about shipping because I haven't tried that system yet. So once the sale does go live, the shipping stuff might jump around a little bit as I tweak and figure out how all that works. But I'm I don't know, I'm nervous and excited. So, but my goal is to get everything set up sometime between April and May. So, yeah. But I mean, let's see, I must have at least 100 different skeins of yarn and stuff. So, yeah, we'll see how this all goes. But, oh, the timer is going to go. And, okay, you know what I need? Oh, I can use this basin. Because I don't have anything pre-soaking anymore. Woohoo! All right. Yeah, so the recap video for this live stream will be a long one, so I'll go through all the formulas and everything like that. But, okay. I'm getting close to making my pretty guys. All right. All right, our water is clear. I'm going to turn it off, and I am going to remove these guys from the pot. So there's a tiny bit of color that crashed out over there. The more water that you can get to drip out, the sort of faster things can cool. I need one more bowl. That water is clear. So I don't know if these ones will cool off enough for me to touch. That's 4, that's 5. And I'm going to go ahead and dump these so things can start cooling off. Okay, that actually is not hot. Eek, tripod. Cool. Okay, I'm going to come down, make myself bigger. Posting on eBay takes forever too. Yeah. I haven't done anything on eBay for a long time. I used to, I collected some books, and so I would relist things on eBay, which was kind of fun. Okay, so what I'm doing right now, because I have these round plates that I really like, and so what I'm doing, sort of showcase the colorways, and I can also show, so I sort of hold things up when I want to, that one belongs over here, so lets me get things organized again. Okay, and then I like to twist it. That way I can make a really nice and pretty little dude. Okay, so this was, this was the third one that we did. So then I can sort of arrange it. Okay, that's number 3. This is number 2. Squeezing out that last bit of water. That helps. I wish I knew what the ties were made out of, because look at all that color, the tie. Oh, I guess you can see it's like neon pink. If you guys have any other questions, I'm happy to chat and hang out and talk about my process. Okay. But yeah, setting up, it's funny because with Etsy, like, they're like, oh, have some listings to make the shop go live. And I was like, well, but I need to set up like a bunch of listings, and I want to be able to see the like behind the scenes interface before I launched the whole shop. But they actually, oh, if you have Etsy questions, they will call you and hang out with you on the phone while you're doing stuff as a seller to just like give you all the help that they can. And I totally did this in the opposite direction that I did the first one. So I'm going to redo it. Did I twist in the other direction too? Funny. Nope, let's go this way. Yeah, but I like doing this as a pretty way. It's a pretty way to show off yarns while they're drying, once they're dry as well, but I like sort of twisting the yarn around like this when they're wet as a fun way to show off the colorway, because you can't really twist it into like a nice hank yet. This is number 2. Man, those colors are bad. Can you speed up the cooling process with ice? I would not. I would not do that. So abrupt changes in temperature can, you can risk felting your fibers with abrupt temperature changes. I would say the fastest way to get things to cool would be, so just removing them from the pot. But some people, and in some cases I like to do this too, like to leave the yarn in the pot until it's room temperature, because that helps things absorb. Oh dear. Aha. You go over there, you go there. And I think there's this one last one. I don't know what's over here. Watching me. All right. Even in the refrigerator. The only reason why I wouldn't want, which way do I twist? The only reason why I would not do the refrigerator is that, oh goodness, I would not want to risk like spoiling any of my other stuff in the fridge. So I mean, you could, there's no reason why you couldn't, or you could set it outside if it's a cool day. I'm like struggling with my, there we go, how I wanted to twist this. Yeah, you don't want to shock the yarn with ice. I mean, I'm sure that there are circumstances where you could. I mean, I've done ice dyeing, which definitely shocks the fibers. But I think that, with those, I tend to wait for things to come back to room temperature before I wash them. So. Okay. So here's number 1. All right. We've got 1. Oh dear. And I will post a picture with all of these on probably Instagram or Facebook soon. So that way you can get a sense of the true colors. And I'll bring these up for the webcam in a second. Well, let's see if I can get these other ones to cool. And oh, hot. So that way I can do them too. But okay, you're hot and you are also hot. Okay. Well, we'll see. Okay, that is pulling off a bit. So let me go ahead and show these original 3. Okay, so this was the oh, ha! You can't see. Oh, I wish that the colors were better. So this one this was number 3. This is the new Mccormick's formula. No, this is the current Wilton's formula that you can buy. This is the older Wilton's red number 40 formula, the one that I am going to sorely miss. And then this was the old version of this red number 3. So there's a little bit more of a punch in the current one, but those were basically the yarns. Okay, and no, that's the way I did that. And so to compare, so here's our, this is the red number 40. This is the Color Right system. And it looks a lot, even though it's got red 40 in it, it does also have red number 3. But it looks pretty similar to the other red number 3 icing color ones. And this is my ancient Mccormick's, which looks a bit flatter than the rest of them. But I think that that's because it is the least concentrated. So I think that to get some of those more intense oomph of colors, it also looks a lot more brown than purple from the other ones. But I think to get a little more oomph, you would want to increase the number of drops from 21. But I'm putting these back on the floor so I can have them in order. Because oh, I should be back. Oh, I am? Oh, I am back! Yay! Thank you guys for hanging out through that technical difficulty. Let's see. It's funny, the whole time it was telling me that the stream access was good. So what happened is that I lost internet briefly. So what was the last thing you guys saw? Can you let me know in the chat? Hopefully the chat is still working. But there's a lot of chat that I didn't see. Yay, I'm glad I'm back. So I'm not sure at what point it went down, but it's replaying everything that was missing. Oh, goodness. I'm curious. Oh, good. Okay. I was checking to see where it was on the play, but so I turned on sound briefly. I was showing the first 3, and then did you not see the other 2? Put it on the floor to keep in order. Okay, I'm gonna try. Let's try to do this. And okay, my floor is a little dirty. Oh dear. So bear with me. But we are gonna see if I can do this. Okay. Okay. And I'm gonna try to do it like this. I'm gonna do it all handheld. And I'm gonna turn this off so that way you're not looking at my bum while I do it. Okay. All right, so let's go in order. So here's number 1. And okay, I gotta turn the laptop so I can do this well. Ah! And I just tossed my phone on the floor. Okay, so here's number 1. This was the Wilton's black that I've been using the most. This is the red number 40 formula that I love, that I'm mourning. The color is sort of a bright, deep blue in the center. Maybe like a denim type blue, but not quite as dusty. And then on the outside, which is not really showing up, it's this bluish purple. And With the Wilton's #3 formulas, it's still purple on the outside, but there's less blue overall. It's a little more of a brownish purple. So this one right here is my ancient one that is basically as old as ChemKnits. This is the new one that I just purchased. So this one has more red, a little more blue, a little more punch. Probably because I think more of the red's crashed out on the old one. But again, okay, so here are the first 3. The main difference is with this blue in the center. I'm going to sort of bring #1 over here. So this blue over here is a lot brighter. It's less green. And I guess, I'm not sure, let me see if on the preview. Oh, of course, why am I not? Did it stop again? What? Wait, did things stop again? Because I'm not seeing it. Oh, because I'm not live. Ah! No. Okay. Thanks. I was like, what? The preview was not showing up as live. Okay. Yes, I used a 1/4 teaspoon of every single dye that I used. So yeah, I guess this one is more, it's like a sea green, a turquoisey color. I'm curious how the color will come through for you guys. The real thing that I lose on the webcam is the red, and so this is the blue from the original. Okay, and then if we go and we look at the color right, this blue is more blue than from the red #3. It's not quite as green, but overall it looks a lot more similar to this red #3 one than it does the blue, the red 40. So this one is #4. This one is #1 with the blue. I wish the reds showed up so you could see how pretty those purples were. So it's still really pretty. And the red, I like this red here. It's a bit more purpley. So this part, the red part, is a little more like the red #40. Probably because I think red #3 is sort of like a magenta, and red 40 is more of a crimson. So I think that difference might have some play for the red part. And then the Mccormick's is the most underwhelming of them all. The red reads a bit more brown than purple, or it's like a purpley brown, if that makes sense. And the blue is just overall muted. So maybe if I were to double the amount, I mean, 21 drops of Mccormick's food coloring is not a lot. For some of the yellows and a red that I'm going to be showing soon, I've done 50, 60 drops of color. So, you know, I would definitely be interested in pumping up the volume on this black. But I think that one of the nice things is that when we're looking at these two liquid food colorings, the Color Right black is absolutely more potent than the Mccormick's liquid black. So I highly, highly recommend the Color Right color performance system. And I think I've dropped that link in the chat. I'll add that link to the video description once we're done. But I really like using it for mixing colors. It comes with some really nice recipes that give a sense for what proportions you might want to use. And it's easier to measure, you know, 20 drops than it is to get the exact same amount of the icing color each time. So, you know, it's not I was really, really hoping that this would be the black that I love. The only good thing about all of this is that I did not pre-sell dip-dyed Wilton's black with this colorway and then go and find that I couldn't deliver. So this colorway, it's still gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. It's just different. And, you know, and again, before I said, you know, it's kind of like the difference between like a Wilton's violet and then Delphinium blue. This one just has, I think, overall a bit more yellow to it, which makes the purple maybe a little more brown. But yeah, so that is a look. Ooh, set that webcam down for that lovely look at my dishwasher. But yeah, that's a bit of a summary of our yarns that we dyed today. Oh, you got the color right? Awesome. Oh, so which do I think is better? Well, so the color right system does not have a purple, which is a bit of a bummer for me. And it only has one blue. So like with Mccormick's food coloring, you can get two different blues. You can get like a neon blue, and then they have like a blue blue. And the blue that's at the end of the Broken Violet is like a neon blue. And the blue isn't quite that neon that's in the color right system. So I think that there's value to both. I think that the one benefit of the color right system is that if you get the whole thing, you can get a pink that is just red number 3, and you get a crimson that is just red number 40. So that means you can really play around with the colors that you mix yourself. However, my favorite thing in the world is Wilton's Violet. So I think that icing color always trumps the liquids. But when it comes to mixing colors, if I wanted to try to get a specific color, I would go for the color right system. It's faster to mix, and there's some like good formulas out there for ways to mix the color. Like I got a mint green by using 1 drop of orange and 1 drop of blue. And that 2 drops of color was still too intense for the pastel I wanted, so then I diluted it even more to get the mint green. Yes, so today for the color right system, I did the exact same thing. So I did this was 1/4, the color right dip dyed was 8 cups of water, 2 tablespoons of food coloring, 8 cups of water, 2 tablespoons of vinegar, and then 1/4 teaspoon of the food coloring. Which, again, I think that the icing color might be a little more potent, but I mean, I guess if you consider it's a liquid food coloring versus a gel. So I think that the color right system is more potent than, say, other liquid food colorings, but not necessarily more potent than the icing color. Oh, Trip and Falls, I think I saw that while I was troubleshooting. Yes, Trip and Falls, thank you for the super chat. I'm sorry for you didn't get a shout out. I think I tried, and that was when I realized internet was down, but I really, really appreciate the contribution. Sometimes I feel like a PBS, like, you know, something-a-thon, like contributions from viewers like you help make all of this possible. But it's true. Like, I say that like as a joke, thinking of like watching the PBS drives when I was a kid, but your support of like through, you know, you guys have supported me through the Kickstarter, use Patreon and these super chats, like this really, really does help. It helps me, you know, buying yarn through the links that I share. All of these are things that help me be able to buy more yarn and more dye so I can keep making videos. So I want you to know how much I appreciate that. I appreciate it a lot. So when using the recipes, how much water do I use? It depends. I tend to like, and I guess I'll raise this back up. I tend to like to use, I tend to mix in 1/2 cup of water just because I think it's a nice volume that fits in a cup. But if I'm hand painting and I want colors to be really concentrated, sometimes I'll even do 1/4 and 1/8 cup of water or 1/3 of a cup. It sort of varies a bit. The reason why I mix colors in water before I add it to the dye pot is that it can take some time with the icing colors for things to dissolve. With the color right system, I might add it directly to the pot. However, today I diluted it first because I wanted to be consistent with the technique when I was looking at all these black formulations. I have not tested there's other blacks out there that I haven't looked at yet. I haven't looked at Americolor is one, and there's tons of brands. So I'm interested in looking at other ones in the future. Sometimes it's hard for me, it's hard for me sometimes to go out and test like a bunch of different brands of things because I still have a lot of like one dye left. And so then if I'm going to go and buy like a brand new one, then that's like an extra expense. So one of the things that the Kickstarter helped me do was go and buy a lot of different dyes at once. So before I'd even like used up things, I was buying other ones. So that was helpful. Oh yeah, I think I have like 10 vials of violet. I've been nervous that the violet formula would change. I've been nervous about that one for a long time. However, it's really hard to get a good purple with red 40. So I think you really need to use the red number 3 for that. Like there's a reason why grape Kool-Aid, I guess like Concord grapes are that darker purple anyway, but there's a reason why like there's just not a good purple with some of these other reds. You get these deep colors, you don't get the like bright, vibrant punch. So yeah, but I love, it's funny, I'm going to be able to keep these separate for, the sake of filming the recap. And it's going to be a detailed recap with, I'm going to insert pictures of the labels and things like that. I guess what's funny is that, then when it comes to the D-stash sale, yeah, at some point, I guess unless I label them, they might start to get a little mixed up. Like I did a red number, so when I did a Breaking Orange Die Cut Weekly, and I had 2 different colors, I did a red number 40 orange and a red number 3 orange, because I wanted to see if they could break differently. And when I had the 2 yarns together, I could tell them apart. But once I sent one to a sponsor and then I had another one in my hand, I was like, I don't know which one this one is anymore, because without having them side by side, it was hard for me to tell. It'd be fun to mix a small amount of all the colors I have and then dip dye into it. Yeah, I think it is, and like sometimes I'll save in one container, all the spoons that I rinsed and mixed together, and then, use those to dye, and you end up getting something, you get sort of reds and blues that break. So, yeah, but, this was an adventure, and I cannot believe, I am so pleased that so many of you, when we had that major technical glitch, that so many, yeah, we went down from, I guess about 20 of you held on while things weren't working, and then I really appreciate that. I think that's, I'm taking a screenshot of the viewers and errors. Funny that it didn't show up with an error. Okay, thanks YouTube. Yeah, so I have no idea. I panicked. There was actually at one point someone accidentally disconnected our house from the internet. Like all of a sudden, like we lost all internet, and then like when they came to try to fix it, they were checking our house, and our house seemed fine, and they went and it was like on the street at the box. Someone had like unplugged our house, maybe by accident or something, or I don't know. So they gave me some money for that one. So that way I could use like my phone data for work stuff. But anyway, I panicked for a moment with the internet going down. But it took forever for me to get it to load because for some reason service was bad at that time also. So I was trying to get the video to load on my phone so that way I could let you guys know that I was dealing with a glitch. And it just took forever for it to load. I was like, oh, come on. But anyway, there is a new Die Cut Weekly episode that came out this morning with one of my new favorite techniques. And it was one that I was really excited to play with. And I think I'm going to have a video coming out on Sunday, just for fun. I've started this playlist for this leftover dye series because I started making all these like bonus videos that weren't Die Cut Weekly episodes, but when I had dye left over, I'd dip dye or do something with it. And it's like, I don't know what's in the dye left, you know, exactly where it came from all the time, but let's make some pretty yarn that I will not be able to replicate. And so that's like, I've now got a playlist for those as well that you can find on the channel. But yeah, I decided to bring out a video on Sunday because goodness, I'm making videos for, it's like the middle of April and I'm making videos for June and July right now. And I mean, it's good because that way, like when life happens and I get sick and stuff, then like you guys are still getting content. But it's hard because it's hard when I film and edit a video and I'm like, woohoo, this is done. Oh, you guys aren't going to get to see it for a long time. And so that's sad. But it's like, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't make sense. You wouldn't want me to like dump 20 videos all at once. That would be overwhelming. But I am so glad that you guys came and joined me today as I did this. I thought that like it's complicated enough with all these formulas that I thought that it made sense to do it as a live stream for the actual dyeing, and then I can do the recap with getting colors better, and then actually looking at each of the individual yarns. So when will we see the final on these? So it'll probably be, so today's Friday, it'll probably be early next week. Mainly because basically like after I sign off, I'll eat lunch and then wash. Actually, I'll probably film a tiny bit with these wet. Then I'll wash them, hang them up to dry. And so it will probably take 1 to 2 days for them to dry. And then I will need to, during daylight, film the like final conclusions. And so that's, and then editing usually doesn't take too long, but it then can take another day because the exporting the edited video takes hours, which is the one part that makes things slow. So that's sort of the way things go down. Well, I mean, I still, the boys will have camp this summer. So with their school is like a 9-month program. But then during the summer, they have, for the preschool, they have like a summer camp with like outside water play and fun stuff. So they'll be doing that. So I'll still be able to do streams and fun stuff this summer. Don't you worry, I'm not going anywhere. But I do have a little vacation in May that's actually a vacation. So I am really excited to go on a trip with Keith. Aw, I'm so happy to be the background. That's fun. Oh man. I'm happy to like be healthy again and to be able to get in and do some more live streams. Oh, thank you. That's really, really sweet. Yeah, I'm basically like considering like, okay, so I've got, I'm working on the D-Stash sale and like, ooh, do I want to like do like 1,000,000 skeins of Wilton's Violet or something? I haven't decided, if I'm going to try to do that. I think I have enough yarn that I might not try to like dye something like for like an extra oomph. But yeah, once next week, next week there's the super special surprise spinning special. I forget how it's named. Basically, my friend dyed some roving for me, sent it to me. I haven't opened the package. During a live stream next, I think Tuesday, I'm going to open it up, see the fiber, and then spin it. So we'll have a spinning live stream. Oh no! It froze again? I still see it, so hopefully, but yeah, so next Tuesday, and if you go to the ChemKnits tutorials like channel page, you can see the event for that spinning stream. So that's coming up next week. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done live spinning, so that'll be fun, and that's a good time to come in with questions and stuff because since I'm spinning, there's a lot of time for me to ask questions about all kinds of stuff. So that will be fun. And then Okay, I'm going to throw in my Patreon link again. Which is, I think my favorite part with the Patreon is right now I do a monthly poll. So each month there's an early access video, which is sort of like a whole new like series. April's is already up for patrons. But I also do a poll so patrons can vote to like for the theme of the next month's early access video. So it's really fun, and I'm doing some things that wouldn't necessarily have been what I would have expected people wanted, but it's a fun way to do it. And then the other thing I wanted to drop in is my Knit Picks link. So if you want some of the stroll yarn, there is my affiliate link in the chat. At some point, I will try to do drop spinning. I haven't done it in years. I don't know if I remember how, but yeah, I'll do some drop spinning at some point. Not in this one, but and I love that you remember the name of my wheel. That's awesome. That gets me so. Okay, my voice just went up many octaves. I got a little excited there. But anyway, thank you all so much for joining me. I am very, very sad that this one is going to be gone. I have been a huge fan of black, but I am also really, really glad that I did not offer Broken Black as a Kickstarter reward and then discovered that the formula had changed. That would have been devastating. I mean, I didn't even almost notice that the formula was different until I opened up a vial and I was looking through to just, because I had them in a Ziploc bag to make sure I grabbed the right one, and I was like, wait, how do I have 2 vials with red number 3 in here? It's like, that doesn't make any sense. So, and now here we are. But I really appreciate you guys joining me, and we had a lot of fun. And thank you again for everyone who did super chats. And for those of you that are patrons, thank you for coming and hanging out and for continuing to support me. And yeah, I hope you guys all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And I will, I'll be back next week. And maybe we'll also do some live dyeing next week at some point. I've got like things I've been itching to do, and so live streams are a fun way to like get things out of the editing queue and share them with you right away. So hopefully we will have some fun time to play next week. So anyway, I hope that you guys all have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you haven't already, please give this video a like, subscribe to the ChemKnits Tutorials YouTube channel, and you can also share it on social media and stuff. That's a great way for other people to find me. But thank you so much. I had a blast, and I hope that you guys did too. So I will chat with you guys next time. Bye, everyone.